Alright, this one is for a Marseille game, which is a French battlecruiser. It's got the cruiser icon, but it does have 330 millimeter guns, which are found on battleships. Playing with my buddy Serpent in a small end. So, what you're noticing is that the guns are on the bow, as I'm pointing to. For whatever reason, the audio was kind of messed up the first time, so I'm re-voice-overing it. What I like to do on this map generally is kind of loop around so I can have this little rock in between me and what else is out there, just in case things get a little too hot. That way I can make sure to support the cap for as long as I need, or make sure that I can pull away successfully. You have all the guns on the bow, so those are pretty nice. That doesn't mean you have to stick nose in. In fact, you get overmatched in this ship pretty easy. So you got to be aware. Speeding it up just a little bit, just because we're kind of waiting for things. Serpent is splashing himself with some depth charges. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at divs, right? We want to know, once something is spotted, what else might appear. So we've got some intel on the other side so far, a handful of ships spotted. Let me turn on their ship names real quick. Kind of forgot to do that. Ship names, there we go. So I see a Tirpitz and the Cherbourg. So we know that those two are together in a div. So we can assume that maybe some minor communication may be going on with them. And again, 12K at a pretty good range of almost 18 kilometers with these battleship guns. So they definitely can hurt. And then I'm trying to tuck myself on this rock. And yeah, don't ignore that. I blew that rock to smithereens. I was a little overzealous. So I'm reversing here with my speed boost. That way I can get shots back on that Tirpitz, because he's going in between, maybe underneath that rock. So I want to be there ready to see him once he jumps that gap, and I can get all those guns on target. We have the Thunderer coming in as well as a Worcester. So Pence Torps that went there, they didn't hit anything. So we know that Tirpitz probably either stopped, because he's not in that channel right there, because Serpent's Torps just kind of sailed on by. So either he stopped, grounded on the rock here, or maybe he did a little bit of a turnaround. Not 100% certain. Pet and I are marking that on the map right now, that we think the Tirpitz is going to come out the other way. I'm dark, and I'm just reversing. There's no DD over here doing any spotting for them. Paulo Emilio here, I don't know what he was thinking. He does a smoke train, which is an exhaust smoke, where he's just going to kind of like drive a line. But there's a Worcester, and a Worcester has radar. A Worcester has radar. So he's going to get himself radared, and he's going to get himself killed very quickly. I'm trying to do this little head bob to get the elevation on the Worcester. It takes me too long to do so, unfortunately, because he's going to turn away to the left here. And my salvo is just not going to connect the way I want to, unfortunately. Again, he turned out. You can see on the line on the mini-map, let me make it a little bit bigger, that he's turning left. You can see that this gray line, since I'm locked onto him, is turning left, and he's already starting to cut, and you can see that those shells do splash short. And again, that's just me. I should have shot him a little bit earlier when he was flat broadside. Thunderer coming in here. He's flat broadside to me, and I can penetrate that pretty easily. And not all shots, but good couple hits. And then Worcester's starting to turn back in, so I undercut it just a little bit, since I know he's getting slightly closer to me, and I get a Citadel. It would have been nicer to get a little bit more, but we'll take it when we'll take what we can get. Then we got the Wu Jing coming in as well. Lion just smashes the Worcester, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. Though we did kill that Emilio. I was rushing him for reasons. Turpitz coming out flat broadside. And again, almost 15k, 4 pens. His belt is thick, upwards of 100 millimeters on the top part. The lower part, I think, a little bit thicker, I think, like 300, something like that. But again, flat broadside, he's not going to bounce any of those shells. They're not at sharp angles. And I'm going to just tear him to shreds here. Because again, I have that penetration on these battle cruiser guns. But I got a little, I just got crunched. I got overmatched in the stern. I was not rocking back and forth very well. And so I took it in the stern there. Overmatch being that the shells don't have a chance to bounce. They're going to just kind of penetrate through regardless. He also was reversing. This is another reason why you play bow out when you can. Because reversing is not a quick way of going anywhere. He made a mistake coming out flat broadside to all of us. And he just tried to back up, saying, "Oh, whoops." That's not a recommended tactic. Pent notices that there are 3 Ds there. Unfortunately, the torpedo spread just little too late in noticing. And he does get hit by a Shima Torp. And we know that there are 3 destroyers in there, last spotted. So that's a lot of torpedoes. I'm kind of sitting here because I don't know if there are other torpedoes in the water coming down this lane. So I'm going to sit here for just a second, get my bearing. The Wu Jing is pushing in. And so we're going to go ahead and do a little island peeking above. Because I don't want to come around this island flat broadside. So I made a quick check. It's kind of hard to see. But you don't want to come out flat broadside. But I already knew his guns were not facing me. You see he's looking somewhere else. So I can pump him full of AP here. And again, you can see that line. It's moving up. So I can see also by the visual indicator of his ship that he is turning to the left. So I switched to HE because I'm not certain that I'm going to be able to pen him with AP at that angle. I think I might bounce. So I noticed that he's on fire a couple of times. Also my secondary is shot. And so that kind of cued me in to look, hey, look, pay attention. There's a Benson that's really close in range and spotted. So go ahead and give him a salvo. Couple of hits. Considering he's a small target, nose in, it is what it is. And our Yu Yang helps finish him off. Then looking at the Wu Jing, I saw a fire just briefly there. And now there are little white lights on his ship right now. That's the damage control. Battleships have a longer duration damage control. On the Marseille or most cruisers in general, they're going to be 5 seconds. Mine's a little, his is longer at like 15 seconds or so. So I was waiting for that damage control to be done because you can't have things broken on your ship, fires on your ship, if damage control is active. So he's on 1 fire from someone else, maybe the Lion, I'm not certain, and then 2 fires from me. And he's just, and he can't damage Carnot. It's on cooldown. So he's just barbecuing, taking a lot of damage over time from those fires that are burning on him. And again, we snag him. Very good, very good. The game is pretty close match. It's about half and half. We do pick up 2 kills there in short order. But this is far from over. Nothing else to shoot. I figure might as well. The game is halfway done, but I have very little usable healable HP. I took citadels from that error that I had made earlier, which meant that I needed to play that a little bit different. So I'm pushing in. I have a lot of ability to heal, so we're going to try to mitigate it as best we can. Cherbourg is probably along that line right there. because again, the Lion in the back channel there would have spotted him if he had tried to loop around. So I'm debating on AP or HE on this Thunderer, depending on how he's turning. And I have AP loaded, and it works out just fine because there's a Cherbourg right there. I go ahead and reload booster him. Hit him with almost a 10k salvo, 9500. He starts turning away, so I immediately just dump it into the superstructure of the Thunderer because he was turning out in a way, and he has a thicker belt. He's got a thicker belt, and so those shells, they don't overmatch him, so they would likely bounce right here on that thicker belt as he's turning out and away. So figure, we're going to hold on that. Thunderer's kind of behind the rock there, so we do send a salvo to the Cherbourg after the fact, and 3,500. And that's about what I would have expected out of that other last salvo that earned me 12k, 11k on the Thunderer. So I'm going to go ahead and punish the side of the Thunderer. And again, battleship shells, smaller, 330 versus, a lot of the guns at the tier are 406 millimeters, 16-inch guns and above. But still very close game. The camps are close. The Cherbourg could cause me a little bit of trouble here. And that's just because I burned with full battleship time. So if he's using HE on me, my damage con doesn't last very long. A lot of potential to take a lot of fire damage. And he does switch to HE. And does set me on fire. But I'm not going to damage con it because I'm afraid of his reload booster. Just like I have a reload booster. That ship also does, so I would be more concerned about getting set on a double fire or something like that than I would be just to take that one fire. 3 pens, 3 ricochets. He's hurting. He's hurting. So I'm gonna kind of hang out here for just a little bit. Lion is going down to help the Yu Yang, and the Cheshire is coming up to maybe help me. I'm not certain exactly what he was doing at this time, but it's one of those things. I'm dark now, and so I'm not afraid of the Adriatico. His torps over here wouldn't reach me. I'm dark. They can't see me anyway. And I'm really just kind of waiting for this Cheshire, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and move forward, and so I got to go help him. Just because I don't know how he's going to want to play this, but he's definitely making a move towards that Cherbourg. So we're going to back him up on it, make sure that he gets the help he needs. Use a heal to kind of recover some of that fire damage. And we're going to make a move over to try to help over here. We see the Adriatico coming around. He's going to make a play for Charlie. At least that's my guess, just because they need caps. They need caps. They need a couple of kills. Our CV Lexington drops him here and crunches him. But he's still got HP. And the Lexington planes are gone almost immediately. And he's dark. There's no spotting on him. The Lion won't spot him. But I do feel confident that he's going to kind of cut in towards that cap. He's going to kind of go in, down, and around. Down into that cap. So I know that, with reasonable judgment that he's going to be somewhere around there. So I go ahead and give it a salvo. Just because there's nothing else to shoot. I know I'm going to get spotted because of my bloom. Cherbourg is going to shoot me. Maybe have a little bit of my side. But I need to try to get that Adriatico out. And sure enough, we guessed right without having a recent detect on him. And we do splash him. So you're not always going to make those shots. You're not always going to be able to have that opportunity to make those blind fires, but you'll get used to them, especially in smoke screens. They're a little bit more common because you can see shell tracers within, so you're able to try to pick out a guy that's hiding in a smoke screen. Cherbourg coming back in, and he's gonna go ahead and basically give up, to be honest. He just shows me his slap outside, shoots me. I've got the Kaga coming in, and I pump him full of AP here. Figure, why not? I'm gonna pop my reload booster here. Doesn't hurt, because I'm trying to just finish him off really quick. Give him another salvo. Try to pick him up here, and we do. Pitadel. When your last salvo on a kill gets you Citadel, we call it a Pitadel in the community. It's just something that kind of happens sometimes. It's kind of funny. And yeah, even though it was really, really close throughout the game, we are able to clean it up. We're now just kind of looking for the Kaga. We know that from where his planes are coming, he's probably in that square. And we just kind of go and look for him, but we don't find him. He doesn't show up. Yu Yang has to fight off the Holland, and he does, barely. 930 HP to spare. So that was the game. And for personal score, we ended it with 167,000 damage, Confederate, as well as a Kraken, getting those 5 kills, and a win. Base EXP got a little bit higher, right at 2200, yeah, 2272, and top of the team. So little back and forth, but we were able to finish it out.